Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Emmy. This is the final day of the 12 Days of Yule. The 12 Days of Yule is my daily practice where I went from the 20th and I'm ending now on the 31st. And is a good opportunity to about what feels aspirational for the new year, to have a bit of a slow down, treat this time that's between Christmas and New Year's Day for what it's meant for. It's meant for you to be slowing down, to be reflective, to do some pondering. Every day has a different focus, so you can think holistically about the year ahead, think about these areas that you want to focus on more. I think it's a lot more forgiving as far as goal setting is concerned. Every day does have different prompts, different reflection questions to help elicit deeper processing, not just have it be superficial, but thinking more in depth around these different areas that make up one's life. If you would like to follow along, and if you're not terribly witchy, that's a-okay. You could treat any of these questions in this video or any other video as more of a reflection exercise, end of year, capping off the year exercise. Think about what you really want to make moves on in the new year. If you are a practitioner, then you might have been following along this whole time, which is really, really cool. You could save these all for casting on New Year's Day or on New Year's Eve. Either way, treat it as more of a one and done. If you do feel that you need a bit more time to be discerning, to figure some things out, you could also treat this like witchy pre-work for those upcoming rituals, to really think about what lunation do you want to make sure that you have a big plan for? Do you want to embrace the solstices? If you want to do something around an equinox, it could be helpful for defining that for the upcoming year. With this being the final day, the 12th day of the 12 Days of Yule, and with us following the 12 house system of astrology, that means that the 12th day is a 12 house day. The 12th house is the house of sorrow, loss, daemon, hidden life, self-undoing, sacrifice, karma, secrets, secret enemies, hospitals, institutions of confinement or imprisonment. A little bit heavier. If you polled every astrologer, this is going to be the house that most people are afraid of in some way. It really does come down to it being the least understood of all the houses in astrology. I think it's one that you could definitely leverage more as you learn more about it. It does correspond with the drift over the ascendant. This is where the sky was right before you were born. So that is part of why there is this limbo feeling, this threshold between existence and non-existence. The liminal feeling, it may even feel like the person's personal underworld in a sense. The 12th house is where the sun is just after dawn. Dawn is not dark. It's actually that first tentative manifestation of energy right before it comes forth into its persona. It's more of an inward area versus being outward like our first house. So in a sense, if you are standing one way, you can't see what's right behind you. The first house just can't see the 12th house. Hence that feeling of what's going on back there. That's why it does have this invisibility kind of feeling like, oh, I don't know it, I can't see it, therefore it must be real spooky back there. It is where we put our energies out in the world first. These energies might be immature, underdeveloped potentially, inexperienced. It's a very vulnerable placement. It could also feel easily defeated. Again, things are a little bit darker, murkier, more complicated. That could have an effect on one's personality. It just might not be as obvious, or it might be showing up as like a shadow behavior or shadow impulse. The 12th house does have a considerable impact. It's more of a matter of we may not be aware of how it's creating that impact, what the situation is that's conjuring that effect. The thing to really be mindful of when it comes to the 12th house is the shadows are what they are. They're neutral. They're neither good nor bad. The thing that can be tricky is when these things are not addressed. These things become our secrets that we are told in some way, either directly or indirectly, that it is bad or wrong to feel a certain way, to be a certain way, or if we made a mistake, which is normal, that making mistakes are to be avoided at all costs. These things that we are so deeply ashamed of, that we want to hide away, that, oh, nobody can know about this. It has to go somewhere, and it lives in your 12th house. If we're not careful about doing our important 12th house work, either as an ongoing basis or when certain transits are calling it forward, you got to deal with it whether you like it or not. There is, I think, this feeling of dread that can come up, this feeling of this worst part of me is coming to the surface. I feel like I'm actually an awful person, or here are all the things that have gone wrong in my life. We also have to consider that the sixth house, also having its own reputation, being bogged down by its own negative connotations at times, is opposite the 12th house. The sixth house is of that home of health, wellness, daily work, foundational things of life. And then we have the 12th house right across from that. It's not uncommon that certain things that are presenting in your 12th house, being directly opposite that house, will be somaticized, will be presented as physical symptoms. Not to get into medical astrology too much, but there is that well-established phenomenon within mental health that if you are not dealing with your mental health, it could begin to affect your body, up to and including anxiety, gut problems, inflammation becoming chronic inflammation. There is this impact of the sixth house taking on the responsibility of the 12th house. The sixth house being things that are more readily seen. It's absorbing what is not seen. There are certain things that I think ought to be addressed, ought to be figured out, so then you can try to better resolve your daily things that are bearing the brunt of it. It could be a matter of doing some mental health work, considering that that might be wreaking havoc on our bodies, and that we do often neglect our bodies when we're going through something that it could be creating these issues, or it could be exacerbating issues that you already have. There really is that karmic element of the 12th house. There could definitely be that feeling of this is a house of punishment, of anything that happened in my past life is now current Emmy's problem. And on one hand, you could take that perspective and treat it like an opportunity to do more genetic kind of work, intergenerational work. If that does feel empowering to you, then by all means, you can claim that perspective. If that does not feel supportive to you, I do think it is a matter of treating karma like any part of your life. Things that feel heavy when we're younger won't feel as heavy as we get older. Possibly, with it being a house of secret enemies, of unseen things. I think it could also be a helpful house to explore when we're thinking about the new year, as far as if we do need to do more cord cuttings, if we do have to draw more boundaries around certain people, if there are ways that we can put more distance between us and people who do harm, whether intentionally or not. A lot of the evil eye is coming from people who are jealous, envious of you. They see things about you and they're like, oh man, Emmy thinks she's so great. I don't. But here I be still having to do all the work of shielding, maintaining good energetic hygiene to help offset when that comes up. There is this element of a blessing in a way. On one hand, we know we don't want hidden enemies, but if we do have to have them, it is helpful that there is a house dedicated to that kind of information, the storage of this information. It is still a bit of a guiding light. It is still good context. And if it does feel like you've clocked that there is something of a pattern when it comes to you and hidden enemies and things of that nature, who do they tend to be? Does it tend to be elicited by a behavior that you just happen to embody and then they happen to be hating you for it? Or does it tend to be certain types of people see you existing, how you walk through the world, and then to be haters. Haters could come in all shapes and sizes, as many of us might be fully aware. This house can also help paint a picture about your inner saboteur, the way that you may be getting in your own way. I think that is also a crucial thing to do reflection work around, discernment, when we're thinking about the new year and we want to change, because the work that you're not doing around your 12th house could be exactly what is stopping you from the other work that you want to be doing, the kind of advancement that you want to have creatively in your career, with friendships, partnerships, relationships, all of that jazz could be colored in some way. Your pursuit could be affected by anything that is unresolved around 12th house themes. It's also a house of these hidden areas, bedrooms, things that maybe are taboo potentially. We discussed that institutions, areas of confinement are also very 12th housey. They may deal with that karmic element. They may deal with the presence of things that are unresolved that need to be dealt with privately. This could also paint a picture around how you may need to squirrel yourself away if you need to have an area of refuge that's for you and you alone when you're doing a little bit of I need to power down, I have to be in my enclosure. How do you want to decorate your enclosure? The other blessing that is often unaddressed about the 12th house is that it could be a great gift for helping you learn about leverage the ways in which you are unafraid of talking about the taboo or things that are difficult for other people to discuss. For instance, I have a Virgo moon in my 12th house. It is very natural for me to seek refuge in things that people may consider the macabre, they may consider darker. I love to have a ritual around how I take care of myself, attend to my needs, and to think about how I could clarify, illuminate, help other people feel less afraid of their shadow sides, because it is an area of comfort for me, and I'd love to help other people feel a sense of comfort and safety in their dark sides. As always, consider your 12th house placement. If you have anything going on there, who is the ruler of the house? Do you have planets there? Any transits going on there right now? I think that's all very illuminating. Having transits in your 12th house can feel like a lot of work. It could feel like a lot of feelings being stirred up, maybe not necessarily a lot of clarity right away, but that's part of the work and the joy, potentially, of allowing yourself to go deep, be investigative, and to learn more about you to help you be the most well-rounded you possibly could be. I wanted to make sure that we had plenty of time to unpack the 12th house before we dove in, because I know it can be very sensitive. I know that it is often misunderstood. I know that a lot of people feel like it does have that air of darkness about it. Again, nothing is fully one thing or the other. Plenty of people have 8th house placements, 12th house placements, 6th house placements, and they live fulfilling lives. It just may be that their drive, how they exist, how they process, the things that may be patterns might have an air of heaviness about them, but everybody has their own work to do. It's best to be informed as you go about doing it. With that being said, let's dive into the questions. How do you handle your sorrow, your sadness? Do you deal with it, or do you intellectualize it and then stash it away again? Do you self-isolate? Do you like to take your pain, take those scars, and turn it into art? Were you taught to hide away your sadness? Who taught you to do that? When did that even happen? Was it a one and done? Was it a snowball effect over time, where it was a matter of being vulnerable, getting shot down, stewing, then getting up to do it all over again? Does loss roll off of you, or does it consume you? Do you embrace the wave, or do you numb yourself to it? If people made you feel like you had to minimize your grief, to deal with loss by hiding it away, what small thing can you do to begin to open up, to let yourself gently unearth, to reflect more deeply, and then to do the work that is needed, the true processing? What is your relationship to God, to gods, to deity, to land spirits, to the unseen? Do you fear these entities because of conditioning? How can you improve your relationship to the unseen, to the divine in the new year? It could be to specific gods or to capital G God, anything along those lines. Sometimes hidden life can keep us safe, that it does have to be preserved for a period of time, for maybe an area of our life. How can you ensure that whatever dark space you do have to inhabit for any period of time is more of a camping tent that you're pitching in the living room versus succumbing to an endless void? What are the ways in which you diminish yourself? If this is the house of self-undoing, then how have you been holding yourself back? If you've been sacrificing something of yourself, something to be in service to others, in service of the community, are you giving more than what is healthy for you? It's beautiful that the sacrifice might be in the interest of the greater good, but are you depleting yourself in order to achieve that? Your secrets, are they secrets because of shame? Because it's been keeping you safe? If you've had to keep things secret in the past because of your safety, how can you reconcile this, whether it's a matter of making peace with that, not letting it control you, or flipping the narrative and deciding to step out of the shadows entirely? Whether you're a public figure or a regular person, how do you manage the secret enemies of your life? What boundaries do you maybe need to rework? What shadow work may you have to do? Is there certain information that you have to communicate to ancestors, to deities, to your spirit team to essentially say, hey, this is the type of person that I keep having these kinds of issues with. I'm just trying to live my life. This keeps happening to me. Please interject and then trust them to do that work for you, to be supportive of you. I think of this spell as well to reveal enemies, to either make them go away or to make them reveal themselves after they have been removed from your orbit. It was created by Olivia, the Witch of Wonderlust. I'll include a link to this spell in the description for you all. And it's really, really wonderful because you can tailor it to your specific desire. Do you want to find out who the snake is and then push them out? Or do you want to push them out first and then find out later? It's all up to you. Is it time to do that kind of work? Is it time to do that kind of boundary magic? You could do that work of asking your ancestors to clarify if that is somebody. If you don't want to know, just go and have them do what they got to do, by all means. If there is a block that you're picking up on, it's like, oh, I feel like I saw them all the time and now I don't. That's so random. That's so weird. Consider all of the options after you've done that work of getting them involved, doing spell casting to get people pushed out of your life that should not be in your orbit. Do consider, is it that maybe they're busy, or is it a matter of you are being protected from something that is incredibly heinous? The thing about magic, spirit, they take the path of least resistance. It may not be always obvious how they're going about the work that they're doing. By all means, you could also do a check-in, like, hey, I need you to tip me off. I remember in college, there was a women's only dormitory. There was this ghost that was the ghost of a veteran. The lore was that the bad boys that had bad intentions, if they would come into the building, go up the stairs, they would be pushed down the flight of stairs all the way down to the bottom. Some of them even said they saw the form of the spirit of the veteran right before there was a landing, there was a mirror. That happened to a few people where they were trying to go up, they got pushed down, and they were a little bit shaken up, and then they carried on with their night. Or they just passed out there and then they were woken the next day. Some of the girls involved did get more direct clarification, like, oh, here's the way in which that guy was a bad guy. Some of them were more so appreciative, like, hey, if the ghost pushed him down the stairs, I don't want to know how bad he was. I'm just glad that they took care of him. You know what? That's all the information I needed. The ghost has spoken. So yeah, if we're haunted in some way, whether it's our baggage, we have our ghosts, metaphorical or literal, trust them to do the work for you, to show up for you in the way that is probably going to make the most sense to them and be the most direct. And it may not make the most sense for us immediately in the moment. We may want to write it off. We do need to trust the universe. Some things happened for a reason. They might be protecting you from far more than you could ever fathom. That is all for this video. It's all for the 12 Days of Yule. I feel so grateful. And so I think this was a great experience, both as a practitioner, to share more of my work, and also to begin to shake off this mindset that I have to show up a certain way to be on YouTube more consistently. The fact that I did this for 12 days in a row is far beyond my wildest dreams of what I could do at this point in my life, with me having my day job, with me my practice, my career. I want to thank you all for your support. Take a moment to thank my patrons for sponsoring this video. I want to thank my Conjurer tier patrons, Georgia, Karina, Jess, Laura, The Wowels, and Mallow. Thank you all. I hope that you all consider becoming patrons. We do a lot of fun stuff together. Let me know what you all learned, how this felt for you, and if there's anything that you feel excited to have me unpack in the new year. I'm all ears. There are a few comments that I've gotten about certain things I brought up feeling really affirming, really exciting. If there's anything that feels like it should be a more dedicated video, I'm very happy to do that as well, or to make it a workshop or ritual, all of the above. I'm happy to be of service. I hope you all have a beautiful day. Happy New Year. If you honor Christmas tide, happy Epiphany. Bye for now.